All right, so this is a tool that can be used to just kind of analyze the financial situation for um, for a given movie theater. Right now, what I have loaded is a profile for SLO, and what we can do is we can play with a number of different scenarios, and the scenarios are really the offerings that we would offer to customers. So examples are tickets only, membership only, mixed, this tiered style. I haven't built in yet, Bruce, the seasonality part of that, but you can kind of see. I'll talk about what that looks like um, here in a little bit. But I wanted to explain to you how this model works, and um, just so you kind of know what this model is attempting to accomplish, and kind of know yeah, how it works, and the limitations of it and the assumptions that are made. So this is uh, a model of the things that we can kind of know a lot about very well, and then there's some uncertainty of the inputs to the model. But basically, let me go to tickets. Okay. Basically, what this is saying is all the inputs we have here are based around tickets, concessions, membership, and then there's actually all the things for the different tiered plans, different prices. Um, but this is the information that's used. This is all that the input is to this model. And from this information, which is ticket price, what's the rental fee on average, what's the concession per cap on average, what's your concession margin, and from that information, we know what the total revenue is, or we can compute the revenue. I guess we'll start with this. We can compute the revenue per person that walks through the door on average, and then we can also look at all the variable costs associated with that person walking in the door. So this model only looks at total revenue and variable costs. It doesn't model fixed costs. And so it's making the assumption that no matter what mode you run this in, if you're doing members only or if you're doing tickets, that your fixed costs don't change, which is only partly true. It's a pretty good approximation, but also, you know, things like uh, if membership does cause more people to come out, which is what we've seen, then you're going to have to hire, you know, have a few more people on staff. So this is really just meant to be a first order approximation. So that's kind of a limitation of it. Um, so the important thing here, since we're going to start offering some discounting mechanisms for people that come out a lot or potentially free movies, the important thing is to not just understand how much money you make when somebody walks in the door, but also understand how many people of different class, like, and when I say class, I mean from the perspective of how often do they come per month? Do they come out a lot? Do they come out a little? Do they come out an average amount? How many people come out a lot versus how many people come out just an average amount? So there's sort of two phases to this model. The first step is how we want to look at how much money do we make given somebody comes out twice in a month, or four times in a month, or 0 times in a month. And we're looking at ticket. So this is if you're running a ticket model. So it's very linear, totally makes sense. If we look at membership, this is going to be different. You make more money if they come out less often, and at some point you basically make $0 out here at like 5 views because you're paying so much in rental fee. In these dotted lines, this is total revenue, this is total expenses. So there's your base membership fee of $20, which I think is what I have inputted here or something. Yeah, 20. And then you're making, as they come out, they do buy concessions, so this goes up. And your cost goes down more rapidly than this goes up because you're paying a rental fee and you're paying concession, the cost of goods sold for concessions. So another kind of plot that we can look at, this gets a little busy here for sure, but it's this concept of membership benefit. So the question is, okay, it doesn't matter how much you make for membership. What matters is membership as an alternative to tickets. So it's an opportunity cost perspective. And so that's important to say, okay, well, at what point do I make more money off someone? What class of user do I make more money off them if they have a membership? So this is those two plots we just looked at together, the last two plots. This is those two together with this extra additional blue line, which is the difference between the two gross profit lines. And so this blue line says, okay, for everyone, if I was doing an unlimited membership plan, for everyone that watches less than 1.9 movies, I'm making more money off those people. But anyone that watches more than 1.9 movies, I'm making less money, and considerably less. And this plot could go on further. There's definitely people that watch more than 5 movies, but it's a relatively small subset of everyone. So I have, we just have kind of restricted to that view. So there's a number of other things we can look at here. I'm not going to spend much time on that. So the important thing then is not just is to basically multiply or combine these two concepts of how much money do I make per class of user, and then how many users of each class are there in an average population. So this is data points from all of our locations, and so these 3 different lines is the distribution of users' frequency of attending movies, and they all have a very distinct shape, which is pretty cool that it's a very similar shape. It kind of says that there's some underlying mechanism that leads to this behavior, the shape of the behavior, this distribution of users. And this is, so these 2 lines that are on top of each other is the Met Cinema and Avenel and Kalinga, and then this blue line is this Red Bluff. So this is saying, this isn't labeled well, my apologies, this is saying the 0th percentile to the 100th percentile, and how many movies do they watch. So you can see at the 50th percentile people are watching, it's hard to see, but it's 2 movies. And then this is, you know, there's somebody out here that's watching 70 movies a month, which is insane. But you can see it's like nobody watches more than about, like this is 10, so you can see very few people watch more than 10. And this is a better plot of that. So this is same exact plot, but we're zoomed in on this one little region here. And then this is a logarithmic view of that, which is kind of useful. And then here's another visualization, just seeing every single member and where they lie for the different locations. And then here's a histogram of the same data. So the nice thing is all these sites behave relatively similarly, so we kind of know that it's likely not going to vary too much from your location. But we can plug in these different distributions into the model and see what it tells us about the bottom line. These are some other modeling, just investigations. I won't spend too much time on this, but this is basically saying people watch, there's a novelty effect, people watch more movies the first month they have a membership, and then they flattens out. This says that the less often people come out, the more they spend on concessions. If they're coming out all the time, they buy about half as much as if they come out almost never, or pretty rarely. So if we multiply those 2 plots together, we get this plot. So this is actually a kind of a better distribution. This is views. So this is saying here's a number of views, and this is again percentile. So the 0th percentile, and this is ordered in the opposite direction. This is saying the very highest users watching, somewhere above 25. And then if you look at the 25th percentile, 25% of the people are watching 2.5 movies or more. So 75% are watching 2.5 or less, so on and so forth. Okay, so that's just views there. And then this plot up here is how much gross, this is net, it's actually gross, you're making per person that walks in the door. So again, not looking at overhead, this is just what is my total revenue minus all my variable costs per person. So this is a person coming out 25 times or whatever. So if you're doing tickets, so we're looking at the tickets model, you're making the most money off those people that come out the most often. If we look at membership only, it's a very different plot. You're losing money essentially on these people that come out super often, but you have this break-even point pretty early on. You're making a bunch of money off this. And if you look at this area underneath this curve is pretty small compared to the area under this curve. So while you have to have the overusers compensated by these underusers out here, that happens very easily. But of course we can't do members only, so that's sort of moot. I guess I didn't need to show you that. Here's mixed, and you can see the difference between mixed and membership is just that membership, you have this going up. Mixed, these people aren't incentivized to join the plan because of the pricing point of everything. And so this is all kind of smart, where the system's saying as soon as somebody would find it valuable to do unlimited, they'll join the unlimited plan. So if we say increase the ticket price, we should see people will more people will join the membership because it costs more to yeah, so there are more people join, but also this whole line dropped because now you're paying more in rental fee. So that's sort of the power of this. So we'll put it back. I think that's where it was. And one thing we can also do is show ticket comparison, which is, I think, pretty useful. So you can see, hey, if I had been selling tickets, this is how much money I would be making on the distribution. And so you can see really the detriment of a membership, of a mixed membership offering, is because this is where you're making your money, is from these people. So the difference, this area here, you get a little benefit from these first few people that sign up, but then you lose it here. So this is where we have to like chop this up and say, okay, we got some benefit there, but we got to charge these people more if we want to benefit from them, and then people here. So that's the tiered offering, which is over here. So here's the tiered offering, and this is saying we have a silver plan where people can watch up to 4 movies, a gold plan where people can watch 10, and a platinum plan where people can watch 100. And silver's 25, gold is 35, and platinum, the unlimited one, is 150. So here's what that distribution looks like. You can see how many people joined each one. If we look at the ticket comparison, this is better because you can see that we are making more money on those people in the silver plan that joined. In general, we're making more on the people that join the gold. The people that are out here using it the most, we're making a little less money, but it might make sense to bump this up to 45. No, it looks a little bit better. Yeah, it looks like we're basically not losing money on anybody. So what we can do here, what's important is not really, what we want to do is compare all these different plans. Because we have, it's within our power to decide what offering we present to the users. So we can look at it and say, hey, what's the optimal ticket price? How do we optimize all the parameters for mixed? How do we optimize all the parameters for tiered? And whichever one's the best is the one we should offer. And this model kind of allows us to explore, given our assumptions, which this falls under. So what we can do is actually, instead of sitting there and playing with all the parameters like I was just doing and trying to figure out, hey, what's the best, there's this plan comparison tab which says, okay, this is dollars. So this is how many people, how much money comes from people in the ticket plan and the silver plan and the gold plan and the platinum plan in total dollars, average dollars per person. And this is number of people. So this is what percentage. So we're seeing like 60% of the people are in tickets. We're seeing 40%, a little less than 40% is in silver, gold, and like almost no one in platinum. We get dollars because there's, yeah. So what matters is this average per person. So what I can do here is tell this to optimize. We can optimize, and what will happen is the computer will come here and play with all these knobs until it finds the very best setting for all of them. So let's do that now, and probably see this going a little crazy here. Yeah, so this is at 100 miles an hour, playing with all the parameters. And this takes a minute, but this is a lot easier than us as a human going in here and being like, oh, what should I set the ticket price at? What should I set the membership price at? So all it's playing with right now, though, is the silver price, the gold price, and the ticket base price. Everything else it's leaving the same. It should be done any moment now, I would say. There we go, it's done. Okay, so it's saying we should actually only charge $6 for tickets, 20 and 50. That's going to give us our best output. If we compare that to tickets, so tickets right now are doing like $7.50 per person, so this will get us up to 10. So let's just try that. That might be a little extreme. You may not want to lower your ticket price, but this is what the model's showing. Yeah, 6. It's saying, hey, do $6 and do, what was it, 20 and 50. We can see what happens over here. Turn off tickets here. Okay, no one joins the platinum plan, so we can play with that number now. Okay, so we can see this is 75% of the people exactly, pretty much, are still on tickets. Pretty big chunk joined silver, some joined gold, no one joined platinum. So I'm going to run this one more time, and this will optimize the platinum dial as well. So there's another optimization routine that I have written in here, which just plays with these 3 knobs and leaves the price the same, which we can rerun as well based on your ticket price if we don't want to adjust your ticket price. All right. And while that's running, I will mention a couple things here. So one thing that's kind of important to realize is that the base assumption of this model is that the value comes from the fact that when people prepay, they come out more often. And what we do is we give consumers a discount if they prepay, and then we benefit from their increased attendance, and then we kind of split the difference. So the extra money that we make, we want to make sure that we don't discount the cost of the tickets by more than the benefit we receive by their increased attendance. So to make sure that we don't do that, I have these little plots that we can add where we can see basically the value that the consumer's getting, and we can see the what they would pay, or it's the value that the consumer's seeing and what it would be if it was tickets. And these are 2 important things to see because we want to make sure that our price is between the 2. See that here in a second. Okay, so this is saying 20, 50, and 140. Interesting. So we should charge 140, which probably means, I'm amazed that anybody joins at 140. Huh. Let's see here. $20, $50, $140. I think it doesn't matter actually. There must not be anybody that joins this. Oh yeah, there's some people. All right, I'm gonna go to 120. Oh, it's just off the chart. Huh. Okay, cool. So yeah, 140 is apparently what we should charge for that. Okay, so now if we compare, so the tiered style, so you can see that this is making a little bit more money than tickets. I mean, quite a bit. This is like 20% increase. So let's go back to tickets and let's optimize the ticket pricing. So we're making $10.82 per person when you're only making $8.48. Okay. But now if we want to go, let's say we don't want to change the ticket price. So let's do this at $8.75. 2. Let's see if it's much less money than the 8. We're definitely gonna have to charge more. It's gonna tell us to charge more. But if we don't make a lot less money per person, then it might be a good idea because yeah, there's just some benefits to that. It's very conspicuous changing price, and that introduces some uncertainty. But it still might make sense to lower it a little bit. Maybe we can compromise in the middle of what the model says and all that. So while this is running, so it won't take too long as we saw before, I will kind of speak to a couple things. I think there are some drawbacks to this plan, and it could be that it's you know, the seasonality is a concern, and you know, to your point, that does concern me because I think people will go, oh, I can watch 4 movies a month, and it's like, well, I only watch 4 movies in the summer. I have to do that monthly. I don't know, and they may kind of shy away from it a little bit. So there's a couple different solutions to that. Okay, so yeah, this is saying charge 25, 50, and 75. Interesting. It actually wants people to get on the platinum. Okay. Yeah, 25, 50, and 75. All right. And it's 9, so it's $1 less per person. So it's 10%. It performs basically 10% less well, which is a pretty big difference. So probably want to figure out a way to lower ticket prices. And 75. Oh wait, 50. Let's go look at this. This is the most telling one, I think. 75. Huh. So that's a lot of people on the platinum plan, and that's really interesting. So even though you're going to lose some money, you know, the people that are coming out 20 times a month, you're going to lose money on them. But by setting it low at 75, you get more people to join it paying that. So that's a classic optimization problem. So it's pretty interesting. All right. So I'll go back to this. I talked before about this user savings thing. And so this is a great example of that. So this dotted line is what is the ticket. If you just did tickets, this is what we expect consumers' behavior to be. So this is saying that we believe once people prepay for something, they're going to come out more often. So that's why this bumps up. This dotted line is how much they would have paid if they were paying the full ticket price. So the difference between these lines is basically the benefit that they realize as a result of the fact that they got that discount by prepaying or you know, and that sort of thing. And so the difference between that solid line and the dotted line here is the value that we've extracted, the additional value that we've made as a result. So if we lowered the silver price, we're going to see that we're going to give them more benefit and more of the benefit. So it looks like this is split almost half and half, 50-50, which is good, I think. So if we go down to $20, now you can see that they're receiving enormous value up here. I mean, look at that. And we're receiving almost no value. So we're just receiving this little tiny amount of value. So this is where it's bad. And then if we go less than 15, you know, we're down here at $18. So a lot more people are signing up. But, you know, this is kind of good. Like you can find a break-even point where basically people could just come enjoy it more, but you're not going to make any additional money, and it's sort of not a win for you. It's a net zero for you, but it's a win for all your consumers, and that would be like down here at I don't know what the break-even point is. We could actually go look. So silver break-even. Yeah, actually I don't plot the difference, but looks like it's somewhere right about there. You're actually oh no, that's, I take it back. That's definitely more. Yeah, so that's about it. So the area between these two lines, this little triangle here, and this triangle are about the same. So that's where you're losing that money. You're getting that money as a result of the offering, but the consumer is getting this like huge benefit. So if we go back to the recommended point, this is better. You're not losing money on anyone. You're making additional money on anyone, and you're about splitting the benefit, which is what makes it more compelling. You can see for the red, something similar. So for the first few here, you can see that you are realizing 100% of the benefit, essentially, almost. And then over here, it's they're receiving about nearly 100%. So that's kind of like a wash right in the middle, which is good. And then this there's such a broad variety in the platinum plan that you're definitely losing some and making some, so it's kind of a wash in the middle. But anyhow, that's how that works. This is built on the assumption that once people become a member, they watch roughly, or if they prepay, they come out twice as often, which is what we've seen in the data. But this is kind of highly susceptible to this being wrong. So if this is down at, if people only come out 50% more, not 100% more, this is still good. You're still making money on everybody. This is still more than tickets, but not as much more than tickets. Just kind of as a sanity check, we can go in here and say, well, what happens if it's exactly the same? So we set the view factor to 1, which means people's behavior does not change when they prepay at all, which is definitely not true, but just kind of to bound the issue. So if I turn off this plot, because these are on top of each other, user savings, because there's no difference, we can see that all this is an opportunity for us to throw away revenue. So this little gap here is just we're making less money than if we had sold tickets, which is especially true up here for the platinum plan and the gold plan, and a little bit for the silver plan. So, what would be awesome is if people come out 3 times, then this is great. We're actually getting most of the value, but we think it's right around, it's somewhere between like 150% and 150%. I know it's pretty broad, but it's sort of a hard thing to measure because we don't have a clear sense of the baseline. But with either of those, more money is made. If we go look at, what's important is compared to tickets. So let's see what that looks like. So here we go. This is, if it's only 50% increase, then it's a little bit more with tiered plan. If it's 150%, then it's a lot more. It's like 40% more. And again, this is what it's projecting if we did members only, where you would have the underusers offsetting the overusers, but of course we can't do that because of the Warner Brothers contract. And you can also see that mixed in all of these scenarios pretty much, it's worse off than just tickets only. So this is not advised. We definitely need something tiered like that. So that's where I'm at right now. I know this has taken a while. I think it's important that we do it well. There's a couple other things I'm going to add to the model. This is showing that there is a benefit. So that's good. So I want to look at the seasonality. And there's a couple solutions to that. One is the season plan that you talked about. Another is having kind of rollover minutes kind of thing, where it's like you pay and it rolls over to the next. You can buy tickets at a discount if it's a auto renewing kind of situation. Or you can and if those roll over, I think that will encourage people to sign up more often. Or what we can do is it may be compelling enough just as it is with like 4 movies a month, because that's more than most people watch by a lot. So, and that's about how many people watch in the busiest month on average. And the thought is that we give them a discount on extra tickets if they come out more often. So anyhow, That's all I got.